Fellow Americans, we are at a crossroads in America, and there's some hard facts we need to face. I'm not afraid to say it. I pray to God you're not afraid to listen and face the truth. If you're under 40, you really need to listen, because you are the future of this country. And what you do now will determine in a large part whether you and your children continue to live in a free America or not. Our forefathers were men of character who, after declaring our independence, fought the Revolutionary War and framed our Constitution, giving us the rights to freedoms that they had fought and died for, freedoms that far too many of us take for granted today. John Quincy Adams spoke of the one indissoluble bond combining the principles of civil government and the principles of Christianity. That's also reflected in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Indeed, God has guided and blessed us with that freedom and so much more. Yet today, we risk losing it all if we don't stand up for America. If you don't believe it, you need to get your head out of wherever it is and look and listen. Mrs. Obama disrespects and insults the country and each American when she says, and I quote, "It's easier to hold on to your own stereotypes and misconceptions. It makes you feel justified in your own ignorance. That's America, and America's mean." Or, she quips, "For the first time in my adult lifetime, I'm really proud of my country." Well, she's entitled to her opinion. And thank God, we are entitled to ours. And this is one American who's going to express his opinion. Maybe you should join me. When our president shakes hands and hugs a two-bit dictator, thanking him for giving him a book that alleges we Americans have mistreated those in South America, it makes me want to heave. Then he says to the entire world, "We're not a Christian nation." I do pray that's not true. Wake up, America. On the home front, our economy is nearly in shambles. Americans are losing their jobs, homes, savings, and many lack the necessities that they need to provide for themselves and their families. Moreover, our freedoms are being taken from us at a staggering pace. Why? Because we haven't stood up and said, "That's enough." Well, here goes. To Mr. President and those congressional members who are selling us down the river when they vote their own interest on the excuse it's along party lines, rather than voting what's best for America, this American is standing up for America, and I intend to help other Americans who love their country do the same. Under the current administration, the President, in this American's opinion, has ignored the rule of law and allowed government to effectively nationalize the auto industry and the banking system. Now he's aiming at nationalizing health care. That, by all accounts, has been a dismal failure in other countries. Even our Canadian neighbors to the north find it necessary to come to the USA, where they pay to obtain the health care they need. Wake up, America. We are heading towards socialism at breakneck speed. Even worse, it appears to this American that the President is bargaining away America's ability to defend herself from outside enemies by offering to dismantle 1/3 of our remaining nuclear weapons in his recent discussions with Russia. Maybe you and I are one of those weaklings that Obama talked about who needs to cling to their religion and guns. After all, I do believe in God, and my eyes do get moist when I hear the national anthem or some other patriotic music. If yours don't, then I feel sorry for you. Mr. Obama talks of hope. Well, it's this American's hope that we can just survive this administration. This abomination of an administration even had the gall to suggest our veterans pay their own medical costs for injuries that they received in the service of our country. And then they warned us that maybe our veterans returning from war should be put on a terrorist watch list. Say what? America, do you really want them to administer your health care? When you look at the people Obama's put in place to carry out the administration's agenda, it's clear to this American that that agenda isn't in America's best interest. Further, it reminds me of the analogy of putting the fox in charge of guarding the hen house. Wake up, America. I believe at last count Mr. Obama had appointed more than 20 czars, but I could have missed a few. Do you know what a czar is? Webster's dictionary defines it as an emperor. Now, I would remind you, the Russians only had one czar at a time until they overthrew him in their 1917 revolution. Czar. Interesting choice of words. We were, when Obama took office, a republic. Is perhaps the change Mr. Obama spoke about the establishment of a dictatorship with a czar or emperor? Oh, I pray not, but don't rule it out. Wake up, America. God forbid we have to cover that ground again. But to paraphrase a famous quote, one might say it this way: all that is necessary for this administration to triumph is for we Americans to do nothing. Wake up, America. We haven't even begun to see this administration's tax bill yet, and it's not going to be pleasant when we do. Wake up, America. If you don't understand anything else, please try to understand these two simple facts. One, government gets its money from taxes paid by the people, and we Americans are the people in this case. So the government gets their money from us, you, me, and our fellow Americans. Two, the government can't do everything, nor should it be expected to do everything, because a government that is big enough to do everything for us is certainly big enough to take everything from us, and that is not the American way. The situation we've described here makes this American's blood boil. If you have to ask me why, you're probably not a real American. My son, myself, my father, and others in my family have fought for this country in wars all the way back to the war between the states, and probably before that. Some have been wounded, some have died for it. So yes, you're right if you think I'm proud to be an American. Let's look for a minute at what all of we Americans have to be proud of. I'm sure Mrs. Obama must have missed this. We have between 14 and 20 million people who have illegally crossed our borders to try to make a better life for themselves in America. Can you name me even one other country where this happens? I didn't think so. America is and has been the most generous nation in the history of the world. We have nearly always been the first, with the most generous help to foreign countries when disasters have occurred. We've fought and spilled our blood to protect the rights of others all over the world, and we have never asked for anything in return, except in a very few cases just enough land to properly bury our fallen comrades who died protecting the people of that nation. We have done much to help others and to help our own brothers and sisters at home. Have we done enough? There's no doubt that with our economic situation right now, we definitely need to help each other out even more. But even in these times, America, remember that God has truly blessed our nation. It's my prayer that we wake up and join together as Americans, have always joined together when pursuing a common cause. America, we can reverse this course if we do it now.